ॐ भद्रं कर्णेऽपि शृणुयामदेवा भद्रं पश्येम अक्षभिर्यजत्रा स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांस तनूपि व्यशेमहि देवहितं यदायु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Namaste. Veda Gurukulam welcomes all those students who is eager to learn Satyartha Prakash through our online study center. This is one of our innovative measures to spread the message of Satyartha Prakash, the light of truth. We'll try to give classes in English and Malayalam, depend upon the students. Now, as an introduction, what is Satyartha Prakash? Who has written it? What was the purpose of that book? We can discuss. It is said that Satyartha Prakash, that means light of truth, is the magnum opus of Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati, the illustrious founder of the Arya Samaj socio-religious reform movement in 1875 year, AD 1875. It occupies a prominent place in the classical, religious and philosophical literature of the world. It is regarded as the Bible of the Arya Samaj and is as immortal as the truth is. Sri Om Prakash Tyagi, former MP and President Secretary of Sarvadeshik Arya Pradhan Sabha, Delhi, says, it is in fact the beacon light leading people from darkness to light, irrationality to rationality, irreligion to religion, and nescience to science. It embodies the teachings of Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati on all matters, religious, social, educational, political, and moral. Also, his beliefs and disbeliefs and the way of life as envisaged by the Vedas and the Vedic culture, which prevailed throughout the whole world about 5,000 years back, when enlightenment, peace, and prosperity was the order of the day, and Aryavarta, that is India, was at the zenith of its glory. It presents a charter of life at once sublime and noble. It contains principles and rules of conduct for all. In short, it makes people mold and better their lives on the lines which were chalked out by the Vedas and the pattern laid down by what is the best in ancient Vedic heritage, whose living symbol was the Maharishi himself. Others' comments on the tenets and working of various religious denominations were made in good faith and were not motivated as the author has envisaged for injuring the susceptibilities of their adherents. He meant to bring forth truth to light and prevent perpetration of adharma in the name of dharma. In fact, it gave an incentive specially to the divines of those faiths to revise their teachings and give them a rational tone. The object of the Maharishi in writing this volume, to quote his own words, is, there is not the remotest idea to hurt the feelings of any person, either directly or indirectly. But on the contrary, the book proposes that men should distinguish truth from falsehood, Thus alone can the human race steadily advance on the path of happiness. Since none but the preaching of truth is the cause of the improvement of the human family. It is widely read by the people living in India and overseas. The treatise was written in Hindi so as to enable both classes and the masses to be benefited by it and has been availed of by crores of people. It has been translated in all the principal languages, regional languages of India, as well as in English, French, German, Chinese, and Burmese, etc. Our motherland is a land of Vedas. Veritably, this is a land of gold. From the time of Ishwaku to that Pandu of Mahabharata fame, Vedic Dharma guided the lives and activities of the people of Bharat. There was a peace, plenty, and contentment everywhere. King Ashwapati proclaimed before the learned Brahmins who had come to discuss Brahma Vidya that there was no thief, no miser, no drunkard, no man without fire of worship, that is Agnihotra, none without knowledge of truth, none who was a debauch, and no woman of unchaste character. It is said in Chandogya Upanishad. In this even changing world, nothing can maintain itself in a high state. After a period of higher developments in science, art, and philosophy, a period of decrepitude and decay always follows. Nearly 1,000 years before Mahabharata war, the seeds of degeneration began to be sown. Gradually, these seeds began to grow till, in the fullness of time, their fruits dropped a curtain on the great civilization of Bharat in the shape of epic Mahabharata war. In that war, not only veteran soldiers but also learned Brahmins got killed. After this great war, learned Brahmins ceased to exist and their places were taken up by selfish people who began to play loose and fast game with the Vedic text in order to subserve their petty ends. Animals and even men began to be sacrificed in the yajnas to propitiate false gods and goddesses. People fell into a deep ditch of ignorance and intolerance. This state of affairs continued for a very long time, which was eventually protested by Gautam Buddha and Mahavir. They sang the song of Ahimsa and became responsible for founding of faiths called Buddhism and Jainism in Bharat after their death. These faiths landed up in atheism, leading to spread of atheism in whole country. Hence, in order to drive away atheism, Acharya Shankaracharya came on the scene. He was dazzlingly brilliant and demolished the Buddhist tenets by sheer logic in the Shastrarthas, that is, religious debates, held with Buddhist scholars. He preached Advaita, but soon his theory of Advaita got corrupted in the form of theory of illusion called Mayavad. In order to remove these false theories on God and soul, Acharya Madhva rose in the south and propounded the theory of dualism. This was followed by Acharya Ramanuja, who propounded the theory which was called Vishishtadvaita. Thus, number of new and newer faiths started taking roots. These men were followed by reformers like Guru Nanak, Kabir, and Basaveshwar, etc. These men propounded bhakti cults. It should be noted that from Acharya Shankara onwards, the faiths that were founded had no Veda content and they were all non-Vedic cults, even though these men of great understanding held Vedas high in their deliberations. With the result of multiplicity of faiths often opposed to each other, the unity of people suffered greatly, with the disunity ruling the roost. With the disunity ruling the roost, Bharat at last fell before the mighty force of Islam and became a slave country. In the middle of 19th century, the English, who had originally came as traders to Bharat, snatched the political power and became rulers of the country. The country was thrown to sufferings again. 19th century is an important milestone in the history of our country. The 1857 War of Independence failed and Britishers took over the reins of power directly hitherto wielded by the East India Company. The British, who were Christians, besides wielding political power, had their own agenda of christening the Bharat. It is at this point of time attempts were made to undermine the culture and dharma of India. Christian missionaries descended on India with their own imagined stories of rights and wrongs of Hindu dharma and attempted to rescue poor Indians to Christian heaven. They tasted success in some parts of India because of peculiar socio-economic conditions prevailing there. In order to lay firmly the feeling of Sanatana Dharma as being inferior, vice versa, Christianity, Lord Macaulay introduced modern English education, which successfully created man dark in color but English in taste and manners. So, in this background, we should see the Satyartha Prakash. The significance of Satyartha Prakash. Veer Savarkar, the veteran freedom fighter and nationalist, he told, "This is not a book. It could instill martial spirit in any cold-blooded Hindu." He observed it. While making speech during the Satyagraha launched for lifting the unjust ban imposed by the Muslim League in Sindh during British time. Main highlights of this books are: this is the first book which upheld the rights of women and Shudras to study Vedas, duly supported with the Vedic mantras in modern India. This is the first book to denounce sacrifice of animals in yajnas and never compromised even a bit in this context. The other acharyas allowed the meat eating for ruling class, that is Kshatriyas. But Maharishi Dayanand never allowed meat eating even for Kshatriyas, but called upon them to rule with courage and defend the country with all vigor and valor. Arya is not a name of caste or race, but it is a term used to denote nobility. First book which exposed the fallacy of Aryan expedition against India. This is the first book which exposed and condemned the black magic spirits and hawks called astrology, employing fraudulent methods aimed at satisfying the planets, etc. The book has been an eye-opener for those who strive to bring the scientific temper to the masses then and now. The book has done a remarkable job in educating the masses on the advantages of cherishing scientific temper. Renunciation, that is Vairagya, is neither practical proposition nor to be encouraged. It should not be aim or object of life either. Every man, through the medium of four Purusharthas, should strive for happiness. That is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. For the acquisition of wealth and be charitable, he must strive to attain the supreme bliss called Moksha. The first book which glorified the household order, that is Grihastha as it is supported the rest of ashrams. The book exposes the evils of idolatry, superstition called Shraddha, a ceremony observed for the dead, pilgrimages, and the evil practices obtaining in the so-called holy places, birth-based caste system, and other innumerable practices that go within the name of the Puranic religion. The first book which upheld the Vedic Dharma, Asrama Dharma based on Guna Karma Svabhava, as opposed to inhuman birth-based caste system. The first book which condemned the anti-Vedic books, the first attempt to condemn the theory of incarnation of God by wrong understanding of Bhagavad Gita with telltale examples. It provided an alternative wage system under which the country could become strong and valorous, which would defeat, frustrate any enemy under all circumstances. Lord Sri Ram was a Maryada Purushottama. Men like Lord Krishna never did even one wrong in their entire life. First book which wrote down stories of Krishna being depicted as Radha Vallabha, etc. So the relevance of book is very high. So let us study this seriously and continue our studies next class. Thanks.